Hello. What do you picture your days to look like when you become a nurse? Your weeks? Your years? Do you plan to have kids one day? Do you already have kids? How much time do you want to spend with your family and friends outside of your career as a healthcare worker? Are you aware of how many hours nurses work on a daily basis? And does this influence your specialty? Without fail, whenever someone hears you're a nurse, chances are they will say it must be nice to only work 3 days a week. Bedside nurses are currently working 12-hour shifts, and now this isn't a recent thing, and this has been an occurring idea since around the 1970s. But these shifts are looking a whole lot different than they used to. There are a lot of factors that have changed the environment and why nurses work in more critical environments now than how they used to. In the 1970s, hospitals began scheduling 12-hour shifts, and this became an appeal because nurses preferred working fewer days a week and still getting their full-time hours. This made for easier scheduling and less patient handoff. These hours are also helpful for the patient to get to know their nurses and become more comfortable than having 3 nurses a day. Although this sounds like a piece of cake, it isn't as easy as it may seem. Nurses are working with twice the amount of patients than they did even 2 years ago. The patient-to-nurse ratio is getting critically high, and nurses are definitely feeling it. The factors that have led to this are endless. COVID is the number one factor in this nurse shortage. Hospitals pushed the vaccine on healthcare workers till they had no other decision than to leave and find another career. COVID scared a lot of nurses into believing that this was very detrimental and that they didn't want to bring it home to their families. And now this doesn't ignore the fact that it is deadly for people who have illnesses or at an elder age, but for the general younger population, it isn't primarily the case. There's a huge shift in the number of nurses, and this is creating an issue between both nurses and the patients. Patients are forced to wait longer wait times in the ER and in urgent care because we only have so many hands. This is also disappointing because the patients who are more critically ill are taken into consideration first, when everybody who comes in with health issues should be recognized and helped in a timely manner. It has been a known factor that even outside of healthcare, people must take care of themselves in order to take care of others. For nurses, this has been a burnt out light bulb, and sometimes it's not always taken into consideration as it should. Nurses are required to work their normal number of shifts and are asked to pick up more shifts. This is taking a toll on the nurses' personal time to take care of themselves by draining them of energy and spending an excessive amount of time at work. Nurses need to have their hard work recognized and compromised. And this is an issue that if we don't fix, we will continue to lose more nurses. Considering the nurses who have left the industry over the past couple of years, we should reviewing the reasons why and the solutions on how to fix the problem. Bedside nurses should be given the option to work 8-hour shifts rather just 12-hour shifts. There are under certain circumstances that these 8-hour shifts are provided, and that's if you work in like a clinic or you pick up shifts. From the sources of Health Pro advice, 12-hour shifts are becoming increasingly common for hospital nurses, but there is a concern that long shifts adversely affect nurses' well-being, job satisfaction, and intention to leave their job. The option of 8-hour shifts can increase nurse satisfaction and eliminate the intention of nurses to leave with the sole factor of being burnt out from working these 12-hour shifts. 8-hour shifts are available in many other careers and are helpful for people who have children and can't be away for the entire day. When you think about it, nurses leave their house at least a half hour before their shift, and they don't arrive until maybe like 30 minutes after their shift. This is not just a 12-hour day, it's more of like a 13 or a 14-hour day. When thinking about a nurse's day and how many breaks they receive during their 12-hour day, they are not receiving more than a 30-minute lunch break. This is risking their mental health and can ask for nurses to get short fuse towards their patients and their peers. 8-hour shifts are more beneficial for people who have other responsibilities on a day-to-day basis and for people who suffer from the burnout of these 12-hour shifts. There's also more time for the day for the nurses to enjoy things outside of work, more awareness in the last few hours of the shift, and time for more rest. All that I would like for you guys, for my audience to get out of this is to understand that nurses are becoming more burnt out, and the 8-hour shift should definitely be more of an option than just a 12-hour shifts. We need to fix this problem now, or it's just going to keep getting worse. Thank you.